Oliver, I feel awful.
Too much punch?
No, not that kind of awful.
What then? This is for you.
Look, don't you even notice when things go wrong?
What? Well, what?
That damn party.
Well, it wasn't too bad.
Oh, disaster. Absolute disaster.
Sal.
I was made to look silly and foolish and something of a liar.
Oh, Sal, come on.
Charlie Wilcox.
Charlie?
I've been doing my best all evening to wriggle out of that J. Henry fiasco, playing on the sad tale about his bad heart and what disappointed darlings they both were, when then Charlie Wilcox, of all people, has to drop in at the motel on his way back for a snifter and see the great man and his lady wife, full of the joys, entertaining half a dozen people at the bar. It is not funny. Can you imagine how I felt when he dropped that little bomb? And of course I had to be standing next to Kitty Westbrook at the time.
What did she say?
Kitty doesn't say anything, not to one's face, but her phone will be red hot all morning, you can bet your life.
Anyway, the hunters were a bonus.
Yes, thank goodness. They were the only saving grace. I didn't think much of that manager woman of yours, Susan What's-it.
Sharon.
Is she normal?
What on earth do you mean?
Well, she came in trousers.
They were velvet trousers and a rather pretty blouse, I thought.
Oh, did you? Well, I hardly thought it was suitable. And she does do a man's job.
She's normal enough, take it from me.
Oh. Hello. Oh, Kitty. How sweet of you to call, and so early. Oh, so glad you enjoyed it. Yes, it was a pity about them, but didn't you think Barbara Hunter was divine? Right, there. That's all your mail.
Thank you. By the way, I also got your little memorandum, caning J. Henry and me, about the new bypass.
Yes, about doing nothing about our problem.
You forget our board meeting, at which it was decided that J. Henry would deal with it, not me.
Oh, no, David. As I understood it, J. Henry was going to, get up to tricks, while you were going to tackle the problem the straight way.
And so he will. And so will I, when we've let you have your little fling.
Fling?
Yes, you ended your memorandum by saying that you would now deal with the problem. I see no evidence of you having travelled 1 inch towards a solution.
Well, you're about to see me travel miles at one step. Oh, blast.
What are you looking for?
The number of the local council. I mean, I've looked under councils, I've looked under boroughs. What else?
Well, you might get somewhere if you do the obvious thing. Look under the name of our district.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
But if you expect anyone of importance to be there at present, you know nothing about the workings of councils in this day and age. It's scarcely 9 o'clock. You're lucky to find the switchboard plugged in. Also, unless you know who is chairman of the feasibility committee, you won't know where you're travelling.
Do you know his name?
Not yet.
Oh, hello. Yes, could I have the chairman of the feasibility committee, please? Councillor Norman Berry.
How did you get onto that?
By doing something, David, while you did nothing. Watch, listen and learn. You're about to see what feminine charm can achieve. Oh, good morning, Councillor Berry. This is Mrs. Harvey of Crossroads Motel. In fact, I'm one of the directors. I wondered if it would be possible to talk to you about a matter which concerns the motel. It's the proposed bypass in the area. Oh, no, of course not on the telephone, Mr. Councillor Berry. Well, I thought... Well, no, that was my thought. I mean, I know that you are an extremely busy man. And it's because you are so busy and work so hard that, I voted for you at the last election. And I'm fully confident you'll give me every reason to vote for you at the next election. No, well, I thought, you see, if you could possibly take time off from your pressing schedules to have lunch, I would be delighted to invite you to have lunch here with me at the motel. Well, no, it would be business. It would just be just business in social hours, that's all. Oh. Yes, I see. No, that would be convenient if you could spare the time. Well, shall we leave it like that, then? And thank you so much, He says he's too busy to have social engagements, but he will drop in on his way home after office hours and give me a few minutes.
It seems to me that you are exactly where you were.
Here's the invoice for those tyres. Check it against the stock, don't you?
Yeah, okay. By the way, Nobby's been on.
Yeah, and?
You're going to be late.
Why?
Dentist again.
For a man who hasn't got any teeth, doesn't he do rather a lot of that?
Nobby's got all his choppers.
But are they his own?
Morning.
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 Seen the local rag?
Why, you won the sunbathing contest, have you?
Linda Nolan.
Ooh, she looks pretty grim.
She'd be grim, all right. Got 3 years, 3 months in Clinton, see?
Doesn't sound like much to me.
Well, I wouldn't fancy it.
She killed Arthur.
She didn't mean to.
But he's dead anyhow. How do you think Kath's gonna feel when she reads that?
I don't know. But it doesn't matter what they throw at her. It's not going to bring him back, is it?
Well, I think she got off pretty light.
She was a silly, hysterical woman.
Yeah, he was one hell of a nice guy.
Do you want to start the MOTs?
Yeah. Where's Nobby?
Having his dentures drilled.
Not again.
Tell that to Sydney. He's becoming one of the world's great believers.
Yeah, well, you've got no feeling for your fellow human beings. That's all you, kid.
I'll bear that in mind.
Hey, it was last night, wasn't it?
What?
That sort of shindig over at the Banks' place.
That's right.
Nice place that he got?
Very nice, yes.
What about his old woman?
Oh, you know.
What do you mean? No, I don't know.
Not exactly my type.
Oh, well, still, you don't mind putting up with that, do you, for a free nosh-up and that?
Anytime.
Hey, watch it, though, kid. I mean, you might get used to that high living, you know, like that.
I'll bear that in mind as well. Do you want to start working, Sydney?
How many of these MOTs have we got booked in?
We've got 3 booked in and we've got 1 waiting.
Oh, good. Sydney, let's go.
Okay. Funny about Arthur, isn't he? You know, he's always sort of arguing with him when I know about it.
Yes, but I think he was quite fond of him all the same. He's ever so fond of Kath, isn't he?
Yeah.
So the whole...
Morning.
Hi, morning. Just go easy with the lady, will you?
What?
Well, you got one fragile lady sitting there today.
Oh, I see.
She was telling me about that sort of rave-up you had last night at your place.
Yes, still a bit of a blowout once in a while, you know.
Oh, I'm all for that.
Well, at least it's over.
Did she say anything?
Didn't even notice you left early, so I didn't mention it.
I'm so sorry I had to go like that, but I couldn't cope.
Oh, love.
Not here,
No, you're right. What about meeting and having a spot of lunch?
Lunch is going to be a quick sandwich and a cup of coffee. I haven't got time.
Couldn't your boss give us some time off? Tonight, then.
Yeah, all right, tonight. Oliver, I haven't got to meet her again, have I?
No.
Oh, there you are. I dawdled over breakfast. I thought you were going to join me.
I had coffee in the chalet.
Jill said something last night about having tracked down the chairman of the council's feasibility committee.
Oh, yeah?
I think she's going to try and have him over here to lunch. Do you suppose they'll ask you to join them?
Why?
Well, aren't you supposed to be dealing with the bypass problem?
Jill sent me a rude little memo saying that she would. I shall pick up the pieces when she flops.
Well, why let her flop? I thought you liked her.
Everybody likes her. That's her trouble. I'm the only one with the common sense to let her learn a few lessons the hard way. Flopping is good for young ladies who write rude memos, especially to me.
I think she's going to telephone him this morning.
Any suggestion that we have a meeting with him, tell them that we've got a pressing social engagement.
Where?
Anywhere.
I think she'll find the hunters more obliging.
The hunters will not be more obliging. I've made a sort of a pact with David. Jill is to be left to annoy the council, and then David and I will make the peace.
Well, I hope she makes fools out of you all by dazzling the chairman into diverting the bypass out of sight and sound.
Not a chance until I start dealing with the problem.
Yes. When are you going to start dealing with our own particular problem?
Who?
Well, Sergeant Hall. Of course, darling.
Well, I dealt with Sergeant Halls yesterday.
Well, why didn't you tell me?
Because I didn't actually deal with her. She dealt with me.
What went wrong?
Well, she knew what I was doing, got onto it, and trampled all over me.
Got on to what, Jay?
Well, I put it to her delicately that she could quite easily drop the whole case. She put it to me bluntly that whether she could or not, she wasn't going to.
Delicacy was never your strong point, was it, darling? Well, we've only got one hope. That she continues with her inquiry and gets nowhere.
Thank you, Val.
What?
I think you've put me onto the right track. It'll take a bit of tact and perhaps money.
Well, if you had more of the first and the second, I'd feel a lot happier. Where are you going?
Out.
Oh.
Oh, it's that quarterly charge I don't understand. I think it's doubled from last year. Oh, easy. Hold on. Either of you two got a stamp?
Yeah, I think I got one. Ah, here.
Oh, thanks.
Cheers.
Right. Supper. I think it's cold enough for soup, don't you?
Oh, yeah, lovely. Hello. Mwah.
It's in the paper.
Oh, not yet. Why?
Inside page.
Oh, I forgot. Has Mum seen it?
I thought it best to keep it away from her.
3 months. They've given her 3 months after what she did. She killed him.
So we're whispering about. Come on, help me lay the table.
Whispering?
No, he wasn't whispering. He was talking quietly.
What about? I mean, it obviously concerned me, didn't it? You might as well tell me, because I'll find out sooner or later.
Bit in the paper about the trial. Mrs. Nolan.
They've sent her to prison.
Of course they have. What do you expect?
I don't know. I thought perhaps a fine or taking away her driving licence.
They come down heavier than that, Mum, after what she
Oh,
did.
not heavy enough.
3 months. Poor woman.
Hello, Mrs. Harvey. What? Oh, no, it's his night off, I think. Hang on, I'll just check. Who is it? Oh, hello, Sergeant Halls. No, he's off duty tonight, but I can take a message. Yes, that's fine. I'll make sure he gets it. Thank you. Bye. Come in. Councillor Berry.
That's right.
Mrs. Harvey. Jill Harvey. I was, just going to unwind with a drink. Would you care to join me?
Nothing, thank you.
Oh.
I do not want a drink. Thank you.
Ah.
I have only a few moments.
Well, I don't want to drink on my own, unless you care to change your mind.
I'm perfectly satisfied with the mind I've got. Thank you.
Yes, well, shall we sit down?
I have been sitting all day, thank you. Nevertheless...
Yes, what time, do you make it? My watch seems to be a bit on the blink, I think.
My watch says it's later than I expected it to become without having heard a word yet about why you were so anxious to see me.
Well, Councillor, it's about the bypass.
Which bypass?
Well, the bypass.
Which bypass is to you the bypass?
Oh, come on, Councillor. I think you know the bypass I'm talking about. The one that's going to run right through the motel grounds, which your council hasn't even warned us that he was thinking about.
I take it you're referring to a project still under study by the Feasibility Committee. As chairman of that committee, I saw no reason to advise you of something which might never happen.
Are you saying that it never is going to happen, then?
I'm in no position to say anything about the matter whatsoever, since unless it is considered to be feasible, it won't come into existence. And in that case...
Look, if it doesn't exist except as a brainstorm in your mind, which you're so anxious to hang on to, well, how can you consider it at all? Now, that put a cork in your gobbledygook, didn't it?
Oh, sorry, I'm intruding.
No, you don't, J. Henry. May I introduce Mr. Norman Berry of the local council. This is Mr. J. Henry Pollard, one of our majority shareholders.
Minority. How do you do, Councillor,
Berry. How do you do, Mr. Pollock?
Pollard.
Now, look, I introduce both of you quite distinctly. If you're going to stop playing games about how unmemorable your names are instead of getting down to the business of the bypass, well, I shall leave.
Oh, no, you don't. I see, what a charming dress you've got on, Jill.
Thank you.
Going to a party? And did you say bypass?
You heard exactly what I said.
Jill, why don't you offer Councillor Berry a drink?
You try, J. Henry. You try.
A teetotaler, Mr. Berry?
No. A man who has to leave in a moment.
Ah, I see. Well, I presume you have informed Mrs. Harvey that the bypass is merely under examination as to its feasibility.
I have.
And you've also told her that you are aware that if it goes through, it will ruin the motel.
That contingency has not been reported to me.
Oh, come on. I reported it to you just now at the top of my voice.
If you reflect on your words, you'll recall you merely suggested that any bypass, pointing in any direction, should be left free to ruin the business of any other establishment excepting your own.
I didn't say anything like that.
Mrs. Harvey, I've come to understand that you seldom realise exactly what your own words mean.
I think you'll agree, Councillor, that there are two ways to negotiate. By persuasion or by threat. Now, can you persuade me why I should allow your council to drive a bypass through a property in which I have a considerable financial interest?
Persuasion, should feasibility be affirmed, would be your problem, not mine.
Persuasion of the council not to be so rash.
Rash?
Rash, because at the first sign of a bulldozer, I should resort to threats.
Of what nature?
You are still in your feasibility stage. Please allow me to remain in mine.
I must warn you that if you should threaten the council or its servants, you could face considerable legal consequences. Good night.
And just what am I supposed to learn from that little fiasco?
That little men in power are a damn sight worse than big ones.
Oh, you've missed them. They've just gone down the road for a drink, down the Red Lion, I think they said. But you might catch them.
Well, it isn't really important. I just wanted you to be the first to hear me good news.
Oh, come in.
Thanks. I think we finally found a buyer for the house.
Oh, well, it's not very good news for us, is it? We shall miss you. Still, I'm glad for you anyway. You've had a long time, haven't you, waiting?
Almost given up trying.
Oh, sit down. Have a drink, will you?
Thanks.
So what will you do then when you get a flat or you're going to dig? So what? Do you know who's taking it?
Young couple. I hope they have better luck than we did.
Yes, hasn't been a very happy house for you, has it?
Yeah. Thanks. Kath.
Just thought of having strangers next door, you know.
Oh, come on. Look, we shan't be losing touch. We'll be working at the same place.
Yeah, of course we will. Yes, I mean, you must come round here for meals, mustn't you? Sunday dinner, eh?
Thanks. It's not just my leaving, is it?
No.
Oh, that. I think she got off pretty lightly.
That's what Kevin and Glenda said, but I don't know. I mean, when you think what must be going through that poor woman's mind. I don't know. Brought it all back, I suppose. I thought I was getting over the worst of it, you know, but seeing it all there in print, all the details.
Yes, I know.
I didn't wonder about it much, you know. I didn't allow myself to at the time. Perhaps I wanted to believe that it wouldn't have made any difference, but if only she hadn't left him. If only she'd gone for help. Something might have been done to save him, you know.
I don't think so, Kath, honest.
I mean, they told me, of course, that he wouldn't have known anything about it, that he was unconscious from the start. That's all I got to hold on to, isn't it?
Well, would you prefer him to come round to pain and knowing that he'll never get over it?
I don't know. I mean, he'd have been alive, wouldn't he? I'd have looked after him.
Oh, Kath, for how long?
Well, I wouldn't have cared. I'd have had him here, wouldn't I? However bad he was, even if he didn't know me. There would have been a chance. I mean, people have got over terrible accidents. I mean, it's taken time, but they have recovered.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Just to see him again. Just to talk to him. What am I going to do? How can I manage without him?